It's been roughly 1 week since the release of the Nintendo Switch 2, so I think it's time we do a bit of a temperature check. Still a cool 65 degrees.
That joke sucked!
Hi, I'm Try, and I wanted to talk about what the first week has been like with Switch 2 as well as what we can look forward to in the future, and my general thoughts on the system's launch. It definitely goes without saying that Nintendo exceeded their forecast goals when it came to hardware sales, and I believe it. I stood in line at a local Best Buy for the midnight launch and was baffled at the fat line in front of and behind me. This would obviously make the average Nintendo fan nervous. Will I get my Switch 2? Will the last one go to the person in front of me who was obnoxious throughout the whole line experience and could have used a stick of deodorant? These questions were snuffed out almost as quickly as they were brought up when someone else in line said they talked to an employee who looked at the line, looked at the inventory, and said, yeah, there will be enough. We have plenty. I was able to get my Switch 2 without a problem, and Nintendo did their job of providing more stock than we could have imagined for the launch of a highly anticipated console. This was no Nintendo Switch or PS5 situation. If you were a diehard and put in the effort to try and snag one, chances are you were able to. Nintendo reported themselves that in just 4 days, over 3.5 million units sold worldwide, becoming the fastest selling Nintendo game system ever. That's all good and well, but if you got your Switch 2, now what? What games do we have to play? You can't have a good system without good games. Well, I found this wonderful infographic that apparently Nintendo put together, and if you compare this directly to the Nintendo Switch 1's launch lineup, it should be a clean sweep, not even close, right? Well, you see, I'm a bit of a Zelda fan if you couldn't tell by my existence, and I think it's unfair for any console launch in a post-Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild world. I can't think of a more perfect launch title for a hybrid console that you can take on the go, and although my time with Mario Kart World has been amazing, it's just not quite reaching those peaks that Breath of the Wild for the first time did. To highlight some of the games that are available to you right now on the Switch 2, let's talk first about the big system seller, Mario Kart World. I really don't know what to say about it except, yeah, it's great. I haven't binged it as much as I did with Zelda, but I also don't see Mario Kart as a bingeable game series. There's no story to sink my teeth into, no gameplay loop besides the very fun racing, but it's not the week to 2 week long binge where you go super hard into playing it, then stop till you feel like playing it again probably a couple years later. Mario Kart to me has always been one that I play in short bursts throughout the lifespan of the console. I loved getting the new Booster Pass courses on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for Switch 1, and returning to the game for a short time to familiarize myself with the new tracks. It was always a treat, and that hasn't changed for Mario Kart World. I know I'm going to be putting a lot of hours into this game, but I also know it won't be front-loaded, and the majority of its hours won't be in the first week, but maybe that's just me. Expect many updates to Mario Kart World in the years ahead, as I'm positive Nintendo will want to update it with content to keep us coming back. We also have the Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour, which I covered in a video last week. Go check it out if you want to see what it's all about without paying $10. And then it's a lot of third-party games that have already come out on other systems. Some games of note are Cyberpunk 77, which if you told me would run well on a Nintendo console, like any Nintendo console, I wouldn't believe you. Deltarune, which has many fans, a lot of which are in my Discord server. Hey Deltarune fans. The game has been releasing in chapters, and from my understanding is a sequel to Undertale, and is just a gem of a game. Chapters 3 and 4 just released this past week. Another one to make note of is Survival Kids. Nah, this game looks terrible. I'm sorry to all 3 of the fans of this game out there, but this looks like a Wii game, and not in a fun, nostalgic way. But we also have Split Fiction, which could be a fun couch co-op game to play with a friend or significant other. Another major set of releases actually belongs to a library of Nintendo's past, and that's the GameCube. You need a Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass in order to play these games, but you also get a massive library of games from Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, and more. I think it's worth it, but when it launched, it definitely wasn't. I believe the GameCube to be one of the strongest lineups in any Nintendo console, so knowing that the Switch 2 will be getting these games from time to time is a massive win. We have Soul Calibur 2, F-Zero GX, and The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, which I have been playing myself and have been loving. If this is how we get Twilight Princess, so be it, but at the very least something good will come from updates to this library of games coming to Switch 2. Last but not least, we have what many consider to be the biggest win of the console, the backwards compatibility with Switch 1 and what it changes to Switch 1 games. You can see at the top of the infographic we have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. If you have a Nintendo Switch Online plus Expansion Pass, you get this for free. If not, then it's $70 for Breath of the Wild and $80 for the Switch 2 versions of these games. It makes the game run so much better with 4K capabilities and a neat little Memories edition which adds some more lore to the game. There are a number of these types of $10 or $20 upgrades coming to Switch 1 games to add content for the Switch 2 version, and this kind of feels like Nintendo's way of giving us more games. They're old games, but for people that never bought them, like most of us from Wii U to Switch, we can get a better version with new content. For a better comparison, it's like what Nintendo did with Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, a new little experience to add to previous games. At the very bottom of the infographic, we have free updates, which usually means a patch to improve how the game looks, runs, and probably bug fixes if there are any. So in the end, a pretty solid launch, especially when compared to game console launches across the generations. I, for one, am a greedy little triangle, and love brand new content that nobody else can play. So with bated breath, I'm looking forward to Donkey Kong Bonanza, which comes out on July 17th, and hopefully scratches that new single-player experience I've been craving. We also, like in the last few days, got a new Splatoon spin-off game announced, which has me intrigued. I've never been the biggest Splatoon fan, but I love the aesthetic, the vibe, the fact that it's a fairly new IP, so this might get me into it. We'll see. Kirby Air Riders is also a game to keep your eyes on, as it's made by director Masahiro Sakurai, who made Super Smash Bros. And Kid Icarus Uprising, so that'll most likely be a massive hit. We also have some Nintendo Switch 1 games that I think will feel great on the Switch 2 in Metroid Prime 4, which seems to take great advantage of the mouse mode that I'm personally very excited for. I have a PC and love my keyboard and mouse controls, so I'm excited to dig into it, as well as Pokemon Legends ZA, which I hope brings me the same joy I had when playing Legends Arceus. I'm also anticipating a Nintendo Direct with no announcements for us to look forward to. Nintendo wants to make sure the first year of Nintendo Switch 2 has a great lineup of games for us to enjoy in its first year on the market, and I'm positive they have many surprises in store for us. I've really enjoyed week 1 with my Nintendo Switch 2, but I think I'm even more excited at the prospect of different game series I love being represented on a console that's much more powerful than its predecessor. What will the new Zelda look like? What will the next Fire Emblem be? How will Game Freak somehow screw up a new Pokemon this time? Just kidding. I hope. But we'll just have to wait and see. This channel is going to be packed with Switch 2 content over the coming months, so if you want to see more videos or like the way I do things, consider subscribing. If you want to play some of the games that will be coming out with me, join the Discord where we'll be holding events. Huge thanks to my patrons who support me here on YouTube and on Patreon. You guys are helping me get one step closer to my dream of doing YouTube full time. Links to my Patreon, YouTube memberships, Twitch and Discord server are all in the description down below. If you want to know what Switch 2 Welcome Tour is all about, click the video that'll pop up. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you being here, and as always,
Thank you for all your support!